So I got the tires mounted Sunday morning around that time. That's about all I was able to do, but I'm going to give you guys a little footage of driving, and then once I stop I'll explain who, what, why, and where. See how straight the truck is driving. At least from your perspective. Okay, so if you saw that little bit of footage of driving, so what I did Saturday is I installed the 2-inch drop spindles and the ball joints, at least the top ones. I didn't get a chance to do the bottom ones. It's not too big of a deal, but anyway, got them both installed. I have the footage of that somewhat, but after I installed both sides, dropped the truck, everything settled in, and the driver's side wheel, if you see right now, it's fairly straight, but when I dropped it for the first time with the drop spindles, with the 2-inch drop spindles, the wheels were facing this way, like quite a bit, and it was the same for the passenger side. They were not quite as bad as the driver's side, but they were still facing out. So what I did, and I'll just use the original tie rods and the sleeve as an example. All I did was loosen the inner tie rod from the center drag link on both sides. Did each side individually, but once I did that, I also loosened the these clamps and manually turned. I forget exactly. This might be the opposite of righty tighty, lefty loosey. I'm not exactly sure, but spinning one way you're essentially inserting the rod that way, and spinning it the other way, you're essentially the rod is being pulled out, and it's the same for the outer tie rod. So I adjusted that, and all I really did was eyeball it as best I could until the wheel was as straight as I could, as me viewing just by eyesight. The front wheel was as even, as aligned with the rear as I could possibly get it. I did the same for the passenger side, retightened everything up, and at that point I still had the old tires, which are now in the back of the truck. These are the new ones. So again, I adjusted everything as much as I could and got the tires, the front tires, as aligned as I could. Just eyeballing it. Got the truck to the alignment shop. They installed the new tires, and once they started doing the alignment, after a few minutes, I guess they did as much as they could. As remember, when you're installing 2-inch drop spindles on the D21s like ours, the outer tie rod, a certain, hopefully you guys can see that space. That's literally the space that's left on this particular set. That's all you have left to make any kind of adjustments, and unfortunately it's not enough for those 2-inch drop spindles. So you have to, when you do the new ones, or if you start using your old ones, you have to chop off a certain amount. That way you have more room to make adjustments. So anyway, I did that. But the mechanic, or the guy that was doing the alignment, he didn't know that. From his perspective, all he knew was the wrong parts were on the truck, and he adjusted everything as much as he could, but couldn't go any further than that. So on the tie rods on this end, let me crawl under the truck real quick, and hopefully this opening right here will be visible, but we'll find out once I go down there and look. Okay, hopefully you guys can see. That's in focus. That's pretty much all the space that's left. So he had almost no more room to make any adjustments on this side. Let's check out the other side. It's not visible from our end how much space is left over, if at all. But again, I tried to explain to him that I installed 2-inch drop spindles and what was involved in that process. That the outer tie rods, when it had to be, a portion of them had to be chopped off when installing 2-inch drop spindles on this type of truck. But there's a little bit of language thing. Even though I'm Mexican, my Spanish is horrible, and I don't know if he understood exactly what I was saying in English, because he kind of had this gigantic question mark on his face. But as far as he knew, he from his perspective, the parts that were on there weren't the right parts for this truck. And again, I tried to explain as best I could. And I ended up leaving. So essentially, he didn't finish doing the alignment. He did as much as he could, but they didn't actually charge me for it at all, because they weren't able to fully do it. So he didn't charge me at all. But he did further adjustments than what I had done. So the ride right now as I showed you in the footage, you know, you can drive and let go of the steering wheel, and she drives straight. But I still want to maybe cut off another 1/4 inch, even further, off of the front or the outer tie rod on either end, and take it to another shop. Unless I take it to the same shop, but probably take it to another shop and see if they can fully do the alignment. Another thing is, I didn't realize, I wasn't expecting the truck to drop as much as it did, which it kind of did. I have some snapshots before and after, but it dropped quite a bit, because the front end used to be the same distance as the rear. See if I can keep my fingers in that exact same position, and we'll gauge how much it dropped. It's really noticeable to the naked eye. If you're like standing far enough away and you can kind of see the whole thing, it is really noticeable. And honestly, I don't mind. I prefer, like, I know a lot of guys dig the low rider look, but I kind of more prefer the muscle car look, a little lower in the front and higher in the back. But anyway, I don't want to make this any longer than it is and than it's gotten. But I'll insert the footage of at least the passenger side when I was installing the spindle and all that, and the upper ball joint, and that'll be that. As far as that goes, I'll make whatever further adjustments I need to make. That way, because again, I want to be absolutely sure that the alignment is 100%, because I don't want to have to deal with more money wasted on more tires, you know, just because I got lazy and just assumed that everything was right. So probably as soon as I got more time, I'll chop off another 1/4 inch or so off of the outer tie rods and take it to a shop and fully officially get this thing aligned. And for now, I'll see you.